do you?
Oh boy, do you see yourself, Natalie?
Oh my.
Our
Right.
1-year-old.
All right. If the stream suddenly ends,
it's because Natalie's pushing keyboard buttons.
Oh my.
Hi,
everyone.
how are you all?
Thanks for joining us. It's we're trying to be energetic. It's a dreary day here.
It is dreary. I was like, I'm so tired. It's so dreary.
Tiffany went to the coffee shop we like to go to earlier to get us a latte to share, but she was just telling me the line was too long.
And I just left. And this other girl was there to get coffee, and she saw the line. She's like, yeah, I'm leaving too. Natalie, do you want to show them how you can walk by yourself? You want to show them? I know we can't have you touch the keyboard right now because it's going to close out the live stream, baby. I'm sorry. I know it's so sad when mommy says something.
Yeah, this is part of Natalie's development. She now, when she doesn't something she likes, she cries, which I think is normal, but is also
it's also kind of breaking. Yeah, do you want to walk? What can you show them?
Oh, that's so funny. Teresa says she wishes it was dreary where she lives. You do? Well,
you like dreary days?
Where do you live that it's not dreary?
Yeah, we'll move there.
Oh my. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So how is everyone doing today? Happy Sunday to you too. You know, it was Natalie's birthday last week, October 3rd. And
she is 1, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Can't believe. We had a survivor party to celebrate that James and I are still alive because James is always like, she won't remember her first birthday, but we made it. So we had like baby themed survivor games that he made up. So we had like a scooching race because Natalie doesn't crawl, she just scooches on her butt. And so everybody should like a race scooching on their butt. Are you still sad? She also has issues coming in right now. So she's been a mommy's girl lately, haven't you? Did you want to play with your books or your mirror? And we had also a diaper throwing contest where they could pour water on a diaper and see who could throw it to this certain spot in the yard. They're very creative games. What?
Yeah.
You need to host today.
Oh, all right, yeah. Poor baby Natalie.
Yeah, go get it. Go get it.
Oh, yeah, so Tiffany's going to think this is funny. Teresa lives in California. It's sunny all the time, and she longs for clouds and weather.
Is she in San Diego? Because that's my favorite place in the world, and that sounds like perfect weather all year. Sounds like San Diego. Oh, look at that owl's eyes.
Yeah, but Natalie picked out the prize for the Survivor theme. We got a giant stuffed rabbit. And it was really funny. When Natalie saw it in the store, she was like, oh!
You should play the video on your phone.
Yeah, she buried her face in it. Well, actually, it's on Tiffany's Instagram story.
No, I think it's down off my story now.
Oh, it is?
I'll put it up again on my Instagram story.
Yeah, put it up again.
At Tiffany Dawn IQV. Baby girl. Baby girl.
Oh, but the guy who won, he was babysitting his 2.5-year-old niece, and so he gave her the giant teddy bear, and she just stood in the middle of our yard and hugged it without moving for like 2.5 minutes. It was really, really cute.
Eventually he picked her up hugging the teddy bear and carried her to the car. It was so funny.
It's amazing how much little kids love stuffed animals.
Yeah.
So
should we get ready to
Yeah, we actually already have, we're excited to hear what questions you have. We already have a great question from Jessica who says, how do you commit your plans to God, even the little ones? How do you know when God wants you to move to a new place? So I would say that those are 2 different questions. We'll kind of break them down. The Bible says, commit your thoughts, your ways to the Lord, or your thoughts to the Lord, and your ways will be established. I think that's how the proverb goes. And I think you want to be in a place where you're just constantly saying, hey, God, I'm still thinking about this. I'm still thinking about moving. What do you think? Will you bring things into my life to help me make this decision? I don't think there's ever a time where God says very specifically to us, and you should move or you should marry this person.
There are occasions, but I think most, like for some people, God will speak in that way. But I think a lot of the time for a lot of us, that's not how he usually speaks.
And so I think you need to plan on just trying to regularly seek God and seek wisdom. And I was hearing from one of my friends recently who was telling about a ministry opportunity in another state. And I felt like when I was thinking about his situation, I think a lot of times, and this goes to your question, how do you know if God wants you to move? I think you really need to dig into the particulars. Some people really like pros and cons lists, but think about it. And it's so much from a kingdom perspective. Like, what community do I have here? What community could I have there? What ministry do I have here? What ministry do I have there? Do I want to move there? Is it financially viable to move? I don't think, especially at least here in America, moving from place to place is relatively common. And so I think that it's definitely something that, you could explore and vet out. And maybe it is something that but I think it's not so much God is like, oh, I really want Jessica to move if only she gets the sign. It's more like God is like, hey, I'm going to open a door for you, and maybe you'll take it and maybe you won't.
I think too, like, a lot of times God puts desires in our hearts, and we can think like, oh, if I want it, it must not be what God has for me. But I don't think that's true at all. I think a lot of times He puts the desire in our hearts for stuff, and as for like following Him, He like makes opportunities to kind of step into those desires. So, yeah. And I think especially if you're on the fence about something, the longer like this thought or desire is with you, I think the more likely is that it's real, and not just like, I randomly think that I should. And I would also check out the video I have called How to Know God's Will. If you search like How to Know God's Will for My Life by Tiffany Dawn, I have a video that goes like way more into this. So definitely check that out. I can't see any of the questions, so I'll let you read them. All right. Back here, I just can't see them.
Yeah. All right. So here's another one.
Questions or comments?
Questions. Yeah. We have a lot of people from sunny places, from Florida. From Savannah, Georgia, beautiful place.
Savannah.
Lafayette, Louisiana. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So Allison asks, my long distance boyfriend is depressed. How can I be there for him as he deals with God about his attitude and problems? That's a great question. I think it. I don't know that I've never struggled with clinical depression.
Well, I mean, I've struggled with depression and anxiety, and you've been there for me through it. Like, what has that been like for you?
Well, but we've lived in the same place.
Oh, his long distance.
Yeah,
I missed that
yeah.
part. Okay.
So I think a big part would be like regular bits of communication, like maybe text during the day. Hey, thinking about you. Not necessarily asking a lot of questions. He might not feel like engaging in a conversation, but just letting him know, hey, I'm thinking about you. I'm praying for you. I saw this and thought of you. Helping him feel connected, I think, is special. But you can't. This isn't a burden that you can really lift a lot of with him. Even if you were short distance, this is part like depression is something like. You need to focus, like with Tiffany's depression, she's had to focus on dealing with it. There's really, as her spouse, only so much I can do for her.
Right.
So like encouraging him to seek a counselor.
That might be the wrong way of saying it, but like to get help. So you're not like the support. Like you need to be healthy and you need to have good boundaries. And I think like it could be helpful even for you to see a counselor and just kind of talk with a person through the situation. And make sure that you're staying healthy and figuring out boundaries and stuff. But really encouraging your boyfriend to like look for help. Like I think James has been a great advocate to just remind me like, sweetie, you're not doing so well. When was the last time you set up an appointment with your counselor? Has it been a month? Then you're overdue, And so like that's been like really helpful. So or like encouraging me like, sweetie, I know you don't feel like going out today, but you need to get out of the house, So just encourage me to like take care of myself, but also him realizing like what he needs to do to stay healthy because he's not my savior. No person. I feel like there's a lot of comments coming up, and I can't read them. But if there's any fun ones that you see, I know we miss a lot of them because the screen moves so fast.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So Jenna asks, "What do you ask if you want to date and you're ready, but you don't drive, and your dad doesn't let people he doesn't know on his property?" Well,
whoa.
Whenever you're living, that does sound intense. Whenever you're living with your parents, on some level, you have to abide by their rules because it is their house. So I think on one hand, I would encourage you to learn how to drive. Hopefully that's something you're, physically able to do in a place that.
How old you are,
Yeah, that's true. I know when Tiffany was young, she really, really wanted to date.
Oh my gosh, I was obsessed with boys. My parents were like, stay away. Well, I think too, it totally depends on how old you are. Like if you're still in high school, it might be that you just need to like wait a little while. But if you're an adult, then it's good if you have some videos out about how to like honor your parents and what that actually looks like. It's good to set healthy boundaries. I recommend the book Boundaries by Dr. Cloud Townsend. And just to learn how to like set those boundaries, so you can be an adult and be who you are meant to be, and use your parents' wisdom, but also like having healthy boundaries. And it all depends on your family situation and your age. But
yeah. You could also, I'm not saying you might not want to do this, but you could also learn a lot by going on a date with a dad approved guy. I mean, you might know beforehand, I am not interested in being with this guy long term, and that's fine. You could still go out and get to know him and, practice, asking questions, having a conversation, trying, like, being authentic on dates is kind of a whole skill in and of itself. So, and I think that sometimes you can develop that even better with people that, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. So just a thought. You might not want to do that, and that would be fine. Ooh, Anna's joining us from Stuttgart, Germany. I think I'm saying that right. Okay. Oh, Philippa asks, what can I do if I struggle to trust my boyfriend, if I've been hurt in the past but really want to? I'd be interested in knowing, were you hurt in the past by him or by someone else?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because I was going to say, I know a lot of times it's very easy for all of us to project past hurts on present relationships. And that's something that I think a lot of people, I think it's very natural to do, but unhealthy.
We also have a video about jealousy in relationships, which I think also speaks to this. For us, like when we got together, I really struggled with trusting James. And part of it was just him being a little bit clueless about some things. So that's a good way to explain it.
I was not really keyed into the signals that I was sending. Is there any way we can turn this off?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I hate baby toys that make noise. Oh, my. Let's see if it turns off.
But, yeah. So part of it was that, but part of it was also that I read into everything because of an ex-boyfriend who was untrustworthy. So it wasn't actually that James was untrustworthy. It was like my past mixed with his kind of obliviousness to how he was coming across in social settings. And we had to kind of work through that and realize like what jealousy needed to heal, what parts of it were like things he needed to change versus I needed to heal from. And I definitely worked with my counselor a lot through that. And that's made a huge difference. Like I can't remember the last time I really felt jealous. And it used to be like all the time, like every social setting it seemed like, but now like it's been a very long time. So I mean, that video talks more about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think back into your question is what I think you want. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
Trusting.
I think you want to let your boyfriend know, look, I'm sorry, I struggle with trust issues. Like maybe it's like it's not you, or maybe it's because of X. And so you like be honest with yourself about it, be honest with your boyfriend, and then be honest about the people who are your support system. Because like your boyfriend can't fix you. This is something, if you have trust issues, you're going to have to slowly work through that, because again, and this, I don't know your exact situation, but if it's because of past hurt, this is something that you're working through. It's not so much because of your boyfriend, and just know that it's going to take time. You can't, it took a while probably for your trust to break down, and it's going to take a while to build it back up. But trust is always earned, and it's fine to give it slowly.
Yeah, I think sometimes people think they have trust issues because they don't trust someone immediately, or someone expects them to trust more quickly than is actually healthy. Yeah. So sometimes it's not even a trust issue. It's just like healthy caution. Yeah. It takes time to trust someone.
Yeah, because that's a good sign. Is anyone who says, well, you don't trust me, or is pressuring you to trust them, you should almost be like, why are you pressuring me to do that? Because on some level that's manipulative. Yeah. I don't know that I would ever say to someone, well, why don't you trust me? That's just.
Well, I mean, there are times when it's probably a fair question, but I do think people pressure you to try and get there before you're ready.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, hey, it's Tally's birthday.
Oh!
She's 20 years old today.
Oh my
She's
gosh.
not sure what to do. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
honored
so
you're
funny.
here with us.
I think it depends on what you like doing. She wants to know what you do. I think you should do things that are special for you. For me,
she asked what to do for her birthday.
yeah. Like
You
now that
guys
she's
should
an
all
adult.
comment your answers.
Yes.
To
What do you do as an adult to celebrate your
Yeah.
birthday? For me, I choose special foods that I eat. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I love
breakfast,
food.
lunch, and dinner.
Snacks too.
7 meals a
All
day.
the time. I just get the food that I want to celebrate. Oh, and I don't work. I've never worked on my birthday. Never gone to school, gone to class, never worked. 31 years. Trend is going strong. So, but yeah, guys, comment below. Give Tally your suggestion.
You should read some of the comments.
Oh, I will. I will.
Okay, good.
We're still getting that.
Okay,
All right. Natalie asks, long question. She's been asked to lead a Bible study. She's working on her anxiety and rebuilding my relationship with God. Not sure if she's ready, but would like to do it. But not sure if you're stable enough mentally and spiritually. And short, how do I know if I'm ready to leave a Bible study? Well, I think leading a good Bible study is a lot more about creating a space and a situation where you can allow God to move, and a lot less about you knowing the answers.
Yeah.
Like Bible study should not be Bible class where the person leading it has all these answers. It's about asking questions and about being vulnerable. So yeah, I think talking to someone who knows you and sharing this, are you walking, sweetie? And sharing your concerns with them and like paying attention to their feedback.
I'd also say you could get a co-leader that's super helpful with the Bible study. Find someone else to help you lead and be really engaged. So it's not just you. And also you can use like a Bible study resource.
Yeah, that's super helpful.
That way you just are basically facilitating this discussion that's already there. So I have a video called My Favorite Bible Studies, and I also have a video called How to Lead a Bible Study, or How to Start a Small Group, I think it is. So those two might be helpful as well. But yeah, I would get a co-leader, and I like how you said it's a way to facilitate a space to connect with God.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's see. Some other places. Greets from the UK. All right. Someone says, my best friend now has a boyfriend. We both never had one till now. I feel so happy for her, and it is still so hard for me.
Yeah.
That is true for everybody. Everybody. Oh yeah, that's right. We have moved to a different part.
That is a great question. I remember feeling like that in college. Like all my friends either had boyfriends currently or had in the past, and I just always felt like the odd one out. And yeah, I think that's natural to an extent, and I think we beat ourselves up for it. But the fact that you can be happy for her, that speaks volumes. That's amazing and awesome. Because that shows that you're not like, I don't know if bitter is the right word, but if you couldn't be happy for her, I think that would be a sign that in your heart there is something that God needed to work on. But if you can be happy for her, it's okay if you still feel disappointed that you don't have that too. That's normal.
Or that your friend isn't hanging out with you at all, or very much.
Hopefully she still is at least a little bit. But yeah, that is hard, and that can be disappointing. And I'm afraid she's gonna X out of our live stream right now. Remember, Mommy's
It's amazing. So many keys on the keyboard.
Sorry, it's so sad. But yeah, you're gonna be okay. Let's find something else to play with.
So for birthday ideas, someone is watching the 1996 version of Pride and Prejudice. It's all 6 hours of it. That's awesome.
You're watching the whole thing?
That's for her birthday.
Cool.
Yeah.
James loves the 6 hour Pride and Prejudice. I can't watch movies. I get bored with movies. I only watch TV shows.
That's true.
Okay, girl.
Okay.
You can play with
All right. Yeah. So Teresa asked practical advice on moving away from immediate family to live with grandparents and go to college. And she's from the Central Valley in California. Yeah. That's really exciting. Yeah. So it sounds like you're not going to live on campus. So you're not going to have like dorm life. So I think it'd be great to get involved and try out some different extracurricular activities. Go to some meetings. See, you might really like being on Model UN or in the choir. Or, I don't know. Try out some new things. I think that's a great college experience. A Christian fellowship group. Some churches have, depending on where you are, have a really great young adults program. Some not as much. It really depends. But even if you're an introvert, pick like 1 or 2 nights a week or afternoons where you're like, I'm just going to go out and do something new. And just know that it takes a couple months to really start developing good friends.
Sometimes more than that. If you're an introvert, it can take a few months. Yeah. But I think that's great advice. Yeah. Look for ways to meet people and get involved, especially since you're not living on campus. Baby girl, are you not feeling so good today? You need mommy snuggles.
Oh. Yeah, Rachel, it's true. Natalie did notice when the toy was turned off. She's pretty smart. Pretty smart. Oh, okay. Oh no. Okay, all right. Okay. Someone says, how do you know if your lifestyles are compatible when dating, looking to get married? I think you have to talk about things. So it's important to talk about money and church and kids if you're thinking about getting married, and just sort of see where you are. But you also want to get to know each other well enough, because someone could say, oh yeah, I'm really responsible with my money and I budget. But you can tell with hanging out with them what those person's spending habits are really like. And, you get to know, you see their apartment, you see what it's really like. And I think then you have to talk about the differences. And you can only talk about so many of them, because inevitably when people get married, they find out about a whole bunch of other differences that they were like, oh, I didn't realize we were so different. And that's totally normal. But if things aren't going well, talking about it, or the conversation never really seems to get anywhere or even happen, that's not good. That's not good. Oh, Lydia went to Build-A-Bear for her 21st birthday with her roommates. What a fun idea. That is awesome. Oh my goodness. I wish you could like share pictures so she could tell us what it looks like. Okay. All right. Someone asked, how can you let a good Christian guy know you aren't interested in him when he likes you more than you like him? I think that's tough. And I think a lot probably depends on like the context you know him in, and also your culture. Like, do you know him from church? Do you know him from work? I mean, I think you want to be polite, but I think that, things that usually lead a guy to think that you're interested is, spending time with him one-on-one, being really engaged in his conversation. So if you see
him a lot while you're talking.
So if you sort of are not rude, but are a little more standoffish and not as, vibrant around him, I think eventually he'll probably back off. Or even if he doesn't, and it's like, would you like to get coffee? You could be like, I'm not interested right now, or I'm just not interested. Oh, I know. Guys, we're so sorry.
She's really happy.
Yeah.
But she does have a tooth going through up here.
It could be teeth.
And then on the bottom.
Yeah. So Star asks, what should I do if my stepfather refuses to go to church and doesn't listen to preachers? There's a lot of people like that. It's very normal. I think that
normal is like common.
Yeah, common. That's what I should have said. I think it's so important to pray for him and pray about how God would use you to be a light to him. And it might be that God might not ever need you to say anything to him. Just being you and being the person God's created you to be, it might be enough of a witness for him right now. But that's a tough situation. But I would say start with prayer.
She keeps trying to eat the grody
side
of the apple, and I don't want her to get it in her mouth.
Oh, you mean like
but every time I turn it, she cries.
Oh, I would say
it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It's washed. Okay.
Sweet girl. Oh, I was also going to say with the guy question, if he's told you he's interested, then I think you can be really honest and straightforward in a kind way. And I have a video about how to do that. Well, we did a video together about that called How to Turn It Down Nicely. And I heard from some of you who've used the formula and said it worked really well. So I was glad to hear that.
Okay. All right. Someone asked, how do you know if it's time to break up or if you can work through relationship problems? I think the most general response I can give is to talk to someone who knows you and knows your situation and get some wisdom from them. I think that's the biggest thing. And again, I think listing out for yourself reasons why I want to be with this person and be honest with yourself. Because sometimes that reason is, well, I just don't want to be alone. And that's not a good reason to
or I'm afraid of anyone else.
Yeah.
Shameless plug, my ebook, Is You Right For You?
Oh, that's right.
I would recommend that.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot here. Yeah, there's a lot of good material in there. It's true.
But it's like 25 questions you should consider in a relationship when you're getting serious with someone, or deciding if you should be with them or not. And yeah, I would say deep down in your gut, you sometimes feel it, and you can just kind of sense like this isn't going well, or if your friends and people you trust think that it's getting unhealthy, or you're becoming unhealthy and like your life is becoming unbalanced. Are you leaving? That's so nice.
Yeah. So someone says they get their nails done for their birthday.
Oh.
Someone says they sleep in. Oh, that's a good one. Someone had just celebrated their 38th birthday and had a lot of cake. That's awesome.
Sorry, brief interruption. I always tell her no for my computer, and I want to stay consistent.
No, sweetheart.
I know she's gonna cry, but hey, baby, how about we come play with stuff over here? Because mommy's laptop is no, remember?
Yeah, it's funny. Natalie will a lot of times. Tiffany will say no to her, and she'll stop and start crying.
But she won't keep doing it. She knows no, don't you? You're so smart.
Oh, okay. Oh, here's a sweet message from Allison. She wanted to know how thankful she is for us. She was raised in a strict religious society and was scared of God. So, all right, guys. I hate to end on such a low note, but we have a teething or otherwise very disappointed child. So thank you all so much for coming. We always love hearing your questions and hearing from you from all over the world. It's really special for us. So thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you some other time, next month, baby, or in one of Tiffany's future Tuesday videos. Bye.